Speaking of which, um, let's do a little poetry. The Homework Machine by Shel Silverstein. The Homework Machine, oh, the Homework Machine. Most perfect contraption that's ever been seen. Just put in your homework, then drop in a dime, snap on the switch, and in 10 seconds time, your homework comes out quick as can be. Here it is. 9 plus 4. And the answer is 3. 3? Oh, me. I guess it's not as perfect as I thought it would be. Okay. This was written in the early 80s, by the way. And in case you're curious, you very, um, very predictive. Notice that the homework machine inside of it has another kid. Why do I bring this up? Well, here's the generative AI policy for this class, okay? I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to bring back the homework machine in a second. We are at our standard yellow. We've got different color codings at Harrisburg University for standard levels. I've chosen yellow for this class. This course may occasionally include the use of generative AI as a tool for learning and for assignment completion. Students may use AI to motivate research, inspire creativity, and increase knowledge. This course will strongly emphasize the responsible and ethical use of generative AI. Generative AI should not be used to produce completed assignments. All assignments will be submitted to Turnitin for student exploration of the AI detection tool. If you have ethical questions about using generative AI, please consult your professor. Notice the emphasis in that body was my emphasis, not the standard emphasis. Okay. As I said before, I'm not interested in grading and providing feedback to generative AI, to ChatGPT, about how it did my assignment. It does my assignments okay. Not great, okay. You can use generative AI as a sounding board, as a brainstorming tool, as a spot checker, things like that. Okay? But you should not be using it to complete assignments. You should not be using it to get an answer for an assignment. And at this level, at a 100 level class, I will caution you from using it at all. Not because I don't want you to use it, but because I want you to use it responsibly. And in my experience, and this is a generality, you may be the exception here, but in my experience, if you don't know what you're doing, then you don't know how to ask an appropriate question of generative AI in order to help. So what tends to happen is, if you're confused, what you end up doing is asking generative AI for an answer. Even if you don't think you're asking it for an answer, you think you're asking it for help, but really what you do is you end up asking it for an answer. Conversely, if you know what you're doing enough to ask generative AI an appropriate question to help you, in my experience at this lower level, you generally don't need to use it. You generally know how to get the answer yourself, either just as easily or with a little more work, but then at least you're assured everything you did was cool. So, I say this to say, right? Remember, no matter how much you think that generative AI is this amazing tool, remember, at its core, it is just another person. Generative AI is trained off of large language models, right? Lots and lots of data, typically the internet. So you're just asking for, a less reliable Google to help you out. So if you use it, it is your responsibility to use it appropriately. I would also strongly consider letting me know when, where, and how you use generative AI. Okay? If I see something that looks like a solution created by generative AI, I'm going to have a conversation with you. Okay? So, it is assumed that your work that you turn in is your own work. Any collaboration rules that apply to a human intelligence apply to a generative AI. And when in doubt, talk to me. Ask a question, send an email, provide context, right? Both previously and in your final submission. And if you have questions, reach out.